While Turkey offers a unique blend of ancient history, stunning landscapes, and vibrant culture, there are certain things that can quickly turn your dream vacation into a nightmare. That is why in this video we want to share with you what to avoid or keep in mind to ensure that your trip to Turkey is a truly memorable experience. So let's get into the video. So the first one will be focusing only on the most famous Turkish foods. And I mean with this, for example, with kebabs, with baklava, and maybe durum and those type of foods. Believe me, Turkish cuisine is so vast, so diverse, and very interesting. You will find also plenty of dishes that are not mainly kebabs. Also, many people wonder if Turkish cuisine is only about meat. Well, Turkish cuisine is not only about meat. Also here you can find plenty of dishes made mostly with vegetables. For example, those ones made with olive oil, which we call them zeytinyağlı, like beans, nohuts, and chickpeas, and many other things. So we invite you to discover and explore the Turkish cuisine, focusing only on the most touristy places of the country and also in Istanbul. The country is so wide, there are so many regions some of them are way more touristy, especially when it comes to Marmara region, for Istanbul, and the Mediterranean and the Aegean coast. But Turkey is much more than that, and you will see if you go explore some other areas. So there are many interesting places that are so diverse and different and so interesting. So also we invite you to get out of those common circuits, explore a bit more so you can get to know more about the Turkish culture. And the same goes for Istanbul. Don't stay only in the main touristy areas like Taksim and Sultanahmet. We invite you to also explore the ancient side of the city, which has many beautiful places to see. The other one is visiting Turkey while you are on a diet, and this is especially for women, because we know like women tend to take more of the shape and take care more of what we eat. So Turkey, and anywhere you go to, I don't know, but I'm that type of person that when I'm, for example, me in my case that I live in Istanbul, here I try to eat as balanced as I can, but when I go abroad I just try to eat as much as I can because I'm a big foodie. I love trying new flavors that maybe in the place where I live I will not get. So this is an advice that I want to give you as well. When you come to Turkey, to Istanbul, just try as many foods as you can. Don't be afraid. Whenever you go back home, then you can keep going with your diet. Another thing that you really need to pay attention to is checking on the official websites when certain museums are closed to visitors. So for example, if your intention is to visit the Topkapı Palace, which that is one of the most emblematic places to visit in Istanbul, you have to know that that museum closes 1 day per week. So sometimes you come, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 days, or you're only here for only 24 hours. But if you happen to come on a Tuesday, then that palace will be closed to visitors and you will not be able to visit it. So that is why it's important to plan and to check what museums that you really want to visit, what places will be open to visitors. Another one is not getting a good VPN. And this brings me to our today's video sponsor, Surfshark, an amazing VPN that mainly unlocks censored websites by connecting to a server in a different country and also establishes a protected and private connection. A VPN will also allow us to connect to popular websites, because trust me, how annoying it is that when we are traveling to a different country and all of a sudden we try to connect to, let's say, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or any other platform that we need, and all of a sudden we realize that we cannot connect because those are banned in our current locations. So in order to avoid those situations, Surfshark comes very handy, where you just connect and voila, you can open any of those platforms easily. And I'm telling you, because this happened to us last year when we were traveling in Iran for 15 days. And as content creators, we always have to use YouTube because we create videos for YouTube. So it is banned there, but with Surfshark, we didn't have that problem at all. Also, if you decide not to get a SIM card from the country you're visiting, you can safely connect to those public Wi-Fi connections with Surfshark VPN because your data and information will be totally encrypted and safe. You can also change your virtual location, and this means that, for example, if you have to do an important transaction from your home country, you can easily connect to Surfshark, put your location back in your home country, and do easily and safely that transaction. What will you get? Unlimited devices all in one account and a 30-day money-back guarantee. In other words, there's absolutely no risk for you to try it out. All you have to do is click in the link in the description box and pin comment, and then use my promo code Bery Istanbul Tips to get your 83% off and 3 additional months for free. Another thing is that many visitors are not aware of the situation that Istanbul, which is the biggest city of Turkey, there are not many public places yet where you can really get a free Wi-Fi, as in many other European cities. So in Istanbul, I suggest, and in general in Turkey, to get a SIM card so you can have the data and internet, so you can easily move around within the country and use some apps that you might find useful while you're traveling here. But in case that you don't, because maybe you're staying for maybe 24 hours or maybe 2 or 3 days, and you believe that you can make it that way, as we showed you before, you should get the VPN Surfshark. Another thing that you really need to learn is how to say no. I know that sometimes it's difficult, especially when people are really nice to us and we are in a different country, and of course we want to experience new things. But I want to tell you that of course not every restaurant is doing this, but some restaurants might do it. And because I have watched in some other YouTube videos, especially from from Spanish channels, and they have been saying that, let's say they visited one restaurant and they only order certain things from the menu, but the waiters kept bringing them things over and over again, things that they didn't order. They didn't even bother to ask if they were included in their price that they were gonna pay initially. And when they received the bill, oh no, of course they realized that the bill was like way more than they should have paid. So this is why I'm telling you, learn how to say no. And when something is being brought to your table, just make sure to always ask them if that is included in the price, in the menu, because then you will get those bad surprises that this was not included and they are overcharging me. So just pay attention to those things. And for this, I really want to tell you that usually these things happen in the most touristy areas. Not in every restaurant, just in some restaurants, but mainly in the touristy area. So you really need to pay attention to this. This is probably the most important part of the video, ignoring safety precautions and potential scams. And yes, just as in any other country and city in the world, in Istanbul also these things happen. And that is why it is very important for each one of us that before traveling to a new destination to do a very, very extensive research on the possible scams, because not everything is positive. We shouldn't be just looking for what foods to eat, what places to visit. We should also look for possible scams and what measures we should be taking, as in any other place in the world. So this also applies for Istanbul, because trust me, also I have read a couple of comments like, oh, in Istanbul you shouldn't take the public transportation because I got stolen my passport, my this and that. And yeah, I mean, of course, this shouldn't be happening to anyone. This is really unfortunate, and I don't really wish this to anybody. But it is also our own responsibility to take care of those situations, pay attention to our belongings, and never ever leave unattended your things. Because also women, when we are at a restaurant, we tend to put our purses on the back, or when we are shopping, we leave them somewhere and then we go do something else. Never do that, especially if you are in the public transportation and when it is too crowded, especially for women and boys who are carrying their backpacks on the back. Always carry them in front. For example, in my case, when I go to Sultanahmet or Taksim, I always take this type of bag. I know it is not very fashionable, or however you want to call it, but it is safe. I can just carry it here and nobody will have access to it. So also you should be paying attention to these kind of things. Skipping out on sightseeing tours in the city. And yes, because these are especially targeting for people who are visiting Istanbul in a very short time, let's say maybe 24 hours or maybe 2 days. Of course, when we visit a new destination, sometimes it it takes us a couple of days to get used to the place and to understand even the public transportation system, where to go and things like that. So when you're coming for a short time, sometimes it's much better for you to even book those private tours with official guides to take you around, because they, of course, they are professionals. They already know the places, the cities, and you will save so much time. So that's why we suggest you that if you are coming to Istanbul in a very short time, you can check those sightseeing tours. And if you are wondering about a good travel agency, we suggest you to do it with Reminder Tour. So for that, we're gonna be leaving the link in the description box and pinned comment. Looking for a restaurant or a cafe in the wrong place. And I'm telling you this because I know that many of you might be traveling on a budget, and that is totally okay. But if you're just only focusing in finding, for example, budget-friendly places in the most touristy areas, for example in Istanbul, like in Sultanahmet or Taksim, let me tell you that it will be quite difficult finding those type of places, because of course, and it's obvious, those are the most touristy areas, so the prices are doubled. But if you go a bit further, and even you don't have to go that far away from touristy areas, even just by walking through a little bit more hidden streets, you will find very good places with more affordable prices. So also take your time to explore a bit more outside from the touristy areas. Not checking for exchange rates in different places of the city. And I am telling you this because many people don't know about this situation, or they just go for the very first place they see where they can exchange their currency. And one of the worst places where you can do it, and this is general, not just in Turkey, is at the airports. Usually at the airports, regardless of them saying zero commission, that's not true. And also in Istanbul, this happens a lot on Istiklal Street, in Taksim Square, and also Sultanahmet area. So try to avoid those ones, those exchange offices, and instead, if you're in Istanbul, we suggest you to do it. Some of the best exchange rates of the city are found inside the Grand Bazaar. Yeah, I know, so some people might say, but for shopping is not the best. Yeah, but for exchanging rate, let me tell you, that is one of the best places to do so. And the last one is going out at night without knowing where to go. And I'm telling you this because here in Istanbul, in case that you haven't seen my other video about scams in Istanbul, there is a very common one that happens especially to solo male travelers, where they are being invited by friendly guys to go to a bar or to a nightclub, and then it turns out to be a scam. So you really need to pay attention to the places that you really want to visit and make an extensive research. Once again, we go back to that point. You need to do a research of the places. On Google reviews, you can find from the places that you might be interested in visiting at night, like a bar, a pub, a nightclub, or even a rooftop. You can always read the comments of other customers, so you can have an idea of those places. So these were some of the things that we believe that if you don't really pay attention to, they could ruin your trip in Turkey and anywhere in the world, really. So that is why you really need to pay attention to these and keep them in mind. If you really like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this every week. See you next time. Bye bye.